this video, we are going to create a user authentication system in our React Instagram clone that we'll build in the last video that I uploaded on my channel. It was a really nice tutorial. We created an Instagram clone using ReactJS, and if you want to learn about it, you can just go to the latest video on my channel, or you can click the card that it will show in the video right now. You can just follow that video that will show you how to create step-by-step the Instagram clone. And on this video today, we are going to create the authentication system. Like, we will create the login, sign up components. We will create the page where the users are going to log in, and we are also going to use Redux, which is a state management system that you can create to save the user in the state globally. And also we'll learn about the use effect and use state hooks on React. And also we'll learn about Firebase, because we'll use Firebase to create the users, which is a system that is created by Google, and you can use it to save data, to create users, or do anything you want. It's gonna be a little long tutorial because we'll code it step by step, but it's gonna be very fun and you'll learn a lot. So let's get started in this video right now. So the first thing you have to do is just to go to the GitHub. If you haven't the code of the Instagram clone that we created last time, you can just go to my GitHub in this repository. You can find the link in the description, and you can clone this code. So let's go ahead and clone this in our computer. So click on code and click on copy the link, and then what you have to do is to open a terminal or a command line if you are on Windows. So here on terminal, you just have to move where you want. So I'll move inside desktop because I want to save it here, and also we'll clone the project. So git clone and paste the link, and it will clone the project. And now cd inside this project with cd react instagram clone, and now we are inside this project. And to open VS Code, I'll use again VS Code. You can just type code and dot, and this will open the project on the VS Code, and here you can directly code it. So I'll make it a little more large, but if you haven't that command, you can just click on file and open folder, and you can open the folder from the desktop. So here we have the project that we have here that we created last time, and now we can just install the requirements and start the server. So just open new terminal, click on terminal and new terminal here, and just type this command yarn. So just type yarn, and this will install the requirements for this project. And if you don't have yarn or Node.js or npm in your terminal, you can just go to Google and search for Node.js, and you have to download it. So after you have all the requirements installed, you can just type yarn start, and this will start the project in the browser. Here we have the project that we created last time. It's just a simple Instagram clone. We have the website here, and the nav bar, the posts, and some suggestions. So in this video today, we are going to create the login and sign up components, and it will also create users and connect that with Firebase. So let's get started with the video. I will put the VS Code here on the side. Okay, so I have the project and VS Code on the same time. Now let's get started with the coding. So the first thing you have to do is just to go to Firebase and log in and create a new account. So just open Firebase, go to Google and search for Firebase on Google, and you have to create a new account. You can use just your Google account to do that, and it's very easy. And after you have created your account, just click go to console, and if you go to console, you just have to create a new project. So click on add project, and you can type the name of the project. I will just type Instagram-clone and click on continue. Then you can just turn off Google Analytics because we don't need it, and create project. This will create a Firebase project, and it will use Firebase to create users in our system. So go to VS Code while the Firebase is creating, and here on the main source, just right click and create new file, and name this file firebase.js. Now inside this file, we'll put some credentials that we'll get from Firebase. So go to Firebase and click on continue. And now what you have to do is to go to project settings, click on this icon, project settings. then scroll down, and here you have to click this icon here, the web icon, because we want to create a new project for web development. So click on that, and this will ask you for an app name. I'll type again Instagram-clone. Click on register app, and here you have to install, it shows you that you have to install Firebase. So go to the VS Code, and here I will create a new terminal by clicking the plus button, and here I have two terminals. One is for the server and one where I can install the requirements. So now to install Firebase, just type yarn install or yarn add, and then Firebase. Press enter, and this will install Firebase in your project. Then here is the credentials that we need. So click on copy, and then go to Firebase and save them. Paste them here and save the file. Here I have the requirements, and I can delete these comments because I don't need them. So delete all these comments. Here I have the file of the Firebase. Then click on continue to console. And we created the project here, and here I have everything I need. So now what you have to do is to create the auth here on inside the Firebase file. So but before doing that, just go to we have to enable authentication. So go to project overview, and here we'll see authentication. Click on authentication and click on get started. Then this will turn on authentication in our Firebase project. And we need email and password provider because we will create the users by email and password. So click on email and password, click on enable and save. And this will save and turn on this provider. And then go to VS Code and we'll import here auth. So click on type import auth inside curly brackets because we need to import auth from Firebase. So type Firebase/auth. Now we got auth here, and we'll create another variable here, but we want to export it too because we'll use it inside all the other files. So just type export const auth equal to get auth, and actually this I made it the wrong import because here on top you have to type get auth, not auth. So get auth, and this is the import that you have to do, and we get the auth and we save it in a variable and we are exporting it. So this is all we have to do with the Firebase file. So we can close it now because we don't need it anymore. And now what you have to do is to create some components. So let's create the login page or the login and sign up component. So let's get started with this. In the source file, just right click and create new folder for authentication. So just type authentication, and inside this folder just create a new file, and I'll call it login. No, actually it's authentication.js, and another file, new file, authentication.css. And inside the authentication.js, you can just type RFCE, which is a shortcut that I'll show you in the last video, and just press enter, and this will create the component for you. But if this is not working, what you have to do is just to go to extensions and install ES7 or React. Just install React, and this will help you. It's ES7 plus React, and just install this extension and it will help you to create with RFCE command. So now we have this file, and let's import the CSS file. Import ./authentication.css. Here we have it, and inside this div I'll create a class name and call it authentication. Okay, so we have the authentication file, and inside this file we'll put login and sign up components that will show every time the user authenticates. So before doing that, we'll create the two other components, which is the login component and the sign up component. So right click on the authentication folder, create new file and login.js, and also new file login.css. And also we create two other files, sign up.js and signup.css. Okay, so we have these files. We'll create the RFC commands and import the CSS, login.css, and also we'll put a class name, login, and here in signup.js, RFCE again, and import the CSS. And also put a class name for this too. Okay, so we have these two components and we'll import both of them in the authentication file. But first, I will return, or I'll show this authentication component in the app. So if I go to right now, if I go to in my project here, instead of this, we'll show the login and sign up first. And if you go to Instagram.com and here we are logged out, and we will create first. This is the authentication component that we created, and here we are going to have an image. This is going to be an image, and here on the right side we'll create the sign up and login, and every time we click don't have an account or you have an account, we'll show different components in this part of the page. So let's go to authentication and create the authentication page. So we are going to have first let's show the authentication in the app. So we'll go to app.js, and instead of this I will comment it. So comment this, and instead of homepage, let's show authentication. So you see, if you just type authentication here, and here it is, authentication, and you click on it, it will automatically import it on top. But if it doesn't, you can just type this yourself. So import from authentication/authentication. And here, close this component, and if we save it and go to our project, it will show you this page, just authentication. So let's go ahead and create this page. So we are going to have two parts, as I said you before. As in Instagram, we have the left part and the right part. So let's go to authentication and create these. So inside this, just type dot and auth _left, enter, and this will create a div, and also another div auth right. So inside the first auth left, what you have to do here, it will put an image. This is the image, and I will just grab and I will just put an image here, and inside this source I'll type a link of the image that I have here, and it's exact the image, but you can just type it too. So https://imgur.com/p3vm1kq.png. So this is the link for this image. So just save it. And if you go here on the React project, it will show you this big image here, but it will fix it in a second. So let's go back, and here on the right side, we'll have the login or sign up component. For showing a login or sign up, we'll create also a more part where it will show you don't have account or you have one. So this is the more part that we'll create. And to create this, just type dot auth more, enter, and this will we'll put if you have an account or if you don't have. So for now, I'll just type inside the span, I'll just type don't have an account, and it will create a button, and in this button we'll type sign up. So if you don't have an account, we'll type sign up, and then otherwise it will show you have an account, and then you can log in, but it will do that later. So for now, if you go here on the project, it will show you here below, but we'll fix it later. So here inside this part, right before the auth more, we'll put one of the components. So for now, let's just put login component. It will automatically import on top. So import login from login and save it. So it will show nothing, or just it will show login here, but we'll type the login component now. So before doing that, let's go to authentication.css because we'll put some style to make it look good. So go here and it will go to authentication class, and for this class we'll put display flags because we want to use flags box to make it look to separate it in two parts. So flags direction is going to be a row, and also we want align items center, and margin, let's add some margin too. Margin is going to be 0 px, 50 px, 0 px for right, and 50 px. Okay, so now if you go to our page, it will show you two parts. So the left part is here, and the other part is here and the right. So we'll also put the percentage for each of them. So let's go to .auth left. .auth left is going to have a flex, and the flex shows how many percent you want that page to show. So 0.5 means 50%, and also text align will make it center because we want to be the image on center. And also we want to grab the auth right, and also we want flex to be 50%. So other 50% is going to be for right. So we basically want to separate the page in two parts. So save it, and here we have 50% for that and 50% for others. But the image is too big, but we'll fix it right now. So .auth image left, and want to get the image, and we'll put a width about 400. So 400 px, and it's good. As you can see, it's now looking better. And also we want margin top 40 px. Here it looks a lot better. So now in auth_more, which is the part that shows don't have an account, we'll put a border because Instagram has a border. If you can see here, it's a border, and border is going to be 1 px solid gray. And if we save it, here we'll show the border. And else we need padding because it's too stretched, so padding 20 px. Now good. And also we want margin right. Margin right is going to be 13 px. Margin left to 30 px. So let's just copy this. Left. And also we want to text align center. So we want to center the text. Okay, this looks a lot better now. And what else we have is auth_more span, which is this. If you go to authentication.js, here is the span, which is the text. So we put this on span, and we don't have an account. And let's go back. .auth_more. We want to get the span tag, and the span tag is going to have a font weight. So we want to make it a little bolder. So we put font weight is 500. And it's bolder now. And we will also want the font size. The font size is 14 px. So it's good. It just looks like Instagram now. So now we want to get this button, the sign up button, and we want to remove that background and stuff. So just type auth_more. We want to go to span. And inside span, we have the button. So get the button from here. And in this class, we'll put background 0. We don't have the background. and it shows nothing now, but we'll put the border, the color. Let's make the color. The color is going to be it's like blue, but we'll show you the hexadecimal code. So it's 0095 and F6. This is the blue. And also we want font weight to be bolder. Font weight bolder. And we want border 0 because it doesn't have any border. Border 0, and look, it looks a lot better. And also when we overhit, it shows is not showing the pointer mouse. So we want to do that. So just copy this class, paste it below, and the colon hover. This will create the hover effect, and cursor is going to be pointer. So now when we over it, it shows pointer. It looks just like a button, a normal button. So now we finished with the auth and authentication. So we just have to create the login and sign up, which we'll show here. So let's go back to login.js. So login.js. So on here, in this file, we'll put some inputs and also an icon, which is the Instagram icon, this here. So first, inside this, we'll put an image, which is the icon. And to get this Instagram icon, you can just find this icon in the sidebar component. So if you go to navigation to sidenav.js, this logo here on image, you can just copy this link. Copy this link, you can close it because we don't need it anymore, and paste it inside source. So save it. And if you go here, it will show very, very big, but we'll fix it. So now we have the image, and we need 2 inputs now. So input 1 is going to be for email. And also we'll put a placeholder. It will be email. And we want another input. And now it's going to be for password, and placeholder is password. Okay, we have 2 inputs and the image. And another thing is the login button. So below them, just type button and login. Okay, so we have all what we need. And we'll also use, to save the data of the input, we'll use the React hooks like use state, but we'll explain it later after we design this component. So let's go to the login.css, and here we'll put some code for our design. So here on logins, type .login class, and we want to have display flex. We'll use flexbox2, and flex direction is column. And also, if you save it, here it will show you on column. And now another thing is border. We want to add some border. First, let's make this image a little smaller. So .login image, and put a width 200 px. And now it looks a lot smaller, so you can easily see too. So also we want to put margin auto, margin left and right is going to be auto. So left auto, and also margin right is auto. And what is this going to do? These 2 commands will make it to put on center, because we want auto in the left and auto in the right. So it will put the image on the center. And now also let's add some on bottom. So margin bottom will make it 40 px. Okay, so we have it 40 px, and it looks good now. So here on .login, let's add some border. So border is going to be 1 px solid gray. We added the border and add some padding 50 px. 50 px, not 50 px, good. And now margin left and right is going to be 30. So margin left 30 px and margin right 30 px. Okay, now it looks almost exactly like Instagram. So now let's fix the inputs. So .login, we want to get the input tag, and inside this tag we want to put the background color to be, it's an hexadecimal code, so make it it's about 6 Fs, so FF24. Yes, it's a transparent color, so it's good. It's background, and now it's not showing background because it has put some data. So let's remove these datas, and it will show you that background. So let's also put a border. A border is going to be 1 px solid gray, and border radius. Radius is 3px. We have border radius, and we save it, it will change. And now just put padding. Padding will make the huge change here. Yes, it did it. And now we want to add margin bottom because we have them stick to each other. So put margin bottom to 20 px. Okay, it looks a lot better now. And color, the text color, if you type here, it'll show black and it'll show nothing. So we want it to be color white. So not white. Now if you type, it's good. Okay, so now we'll fix something. So if you go to Instagram, and when you click on the input, it's not showing that blue focus border. So if you show here, every time you click, it shows this blue border, as you can see. But we will remove this. So to remove the border, when the component is in focus, we just can type login input and column focus. And here we'll type outline, and we can put anything you want. So for now we'll put 1px solid gray, because this is how is Instagram. So now as you can see, it's not showing that blue, but it shows on light gray, so it's looking a lot better. Okay, so we remove the focus, and now let's fix the button. So the last thing is the button, and the button is going to have the login button. The button is going to have some padding, 12px. Now it's good. And border radius is 8px. And also we want the border 0. We don't want border 0. Also border radius here. Okay, it looks better. And color is going to be white. Now it's disappeared the text, but we'll fix it. So background color is a blue, but we'll show you the hexadecimal code. So it's 0095F6. If you save it, it looks good. And something else we can do is can add some font weight to look a lot better. So font weight is bolder. And here we have it, it looks good. But when we hover the mouse again, it's not showing the cursor pointer. So let's do that too. Copy this class and type hover, and cursor is going to be pointer. Save it. Now it's pointing. And it looks really, really good. Two parts are stick to each other. So we can fix this by going to authentication.css. And here on more, in the more part, auth more, we can add margin on top. So margin top we can add like about 10px. Yes, this is good. Or maybe 15. Okay, it looks a lot better. So as you can see, it looks almost like Instagram, and it looks really, really good. So yep, if you go to Instagram, here is the change. So let's now, we created a login. We created the style for login and it looks good. So now we'll create for sign up. So we can close the login as CSS, and here is for sign up. And here on sign up page, let's put some parts first. But to show the sign up, we'll go to authentication.js, and instead of login, we can replace it with sign up. And press enter, make sure to press enter to auto import, or you can type it import on top. So save it, and here is sign up, it's empty. So go to signup.js, and here we'll run the code for sign up. So sign up is going to be almost same as a login, so we can just go ahead and copy this part here from image to the inputs. So copy and go to signup.js, paste it here, save it. It will show really, really big. But we'll also need something else here on the sign up, and what we need here is username. So below email, you can type an input for username. So type is text and placeholder is username. So we have 3 of them, and here replace it with sign up. Sign up. Okay, and also now everything looks good. So also the CSS file is going to be the same. So go to login.css, copy all of this, go to signup.css and paste it. And here instead of login, you can just double click on the login and then just press Command D, and this will multi-select. So Command D, Command D, Command D again until we finish. So we have all of these selected, and then we can edit them. So just type dot sign up, then just save it, and this will fix it. As you can see, we have the email field, the username field, and password field, and the sign up button here. So we'll created the sign up component too, and looks really, really good. Now what we'll do now is to fix something like when you click on sign up, it will show the sign up page. When you click on login, it will show the login page. So to do this, we'll use state. So we'll use state to save a temporary variable that will show us which of them is active. So go to authentication.js, and here we'll have to import use state. So here on top, in curly brackets, just type use state, and now it's imported. And below here, below the function, just type const, and in square brackets just type active. So we'll create an active variable, active, and set active. This is going to be equal to use state, and inside the state we want to save which of them is active. So here we'll have 2 options. It's going to be sign up or login. So as default, I will leave login. So first time it'll show login page. So here is going to be a login. And now when we click here on the auth more, every time we want to click, we'll change the use state. So to do that, we'll first check which of them is active. So for now, type curly brackets, and we'll do an if statement. And in an if statement on JSX or in the ES7 is like this. So just type the variable active, and if active is equal to, with 3 equal signs, equal to login. If equal to login, now put a question mark. So this question mark means if. So if this is true, we'll do this. So we'll return something on these square brackets. and in this bracket. So then else we do else in this syntax by putting column, else do this. So here is, if it's true, we'll return something inside here, else we'll return something else. So for here, what we have to do is to return the span. So actually, let's copy all of this and put it inside the span. So, and inside this brackets, what you have to do is just type this syntax that I will show you here. And inside it, we'll put the don't sign up word. So copy all of this with the button 2 and put it inside. So if the login, so if we are clicking on login, it will show don't have an account and sign up. So else, what we have to do is to do again the same thing, else, and we'll also copy this. Let's just copy it so we can type it, double it. So we can type it 2 times. So copy and put it inside. So else we have to show have an account, and the button is going to be login. So login. So otherwise login. And here is the syntax. I know it's kind of confusing, but we'll understand it later too. So I'll explain again. So if active is equal to login, it will show you don't have an account and sign up. So else, if it's sign up, it will show you have an account, login. So here is how you can do it. And for now, it is login and it will show you this. But if you change it here on the state and we'll put it sign up, it will show you have an account, login. So it's very, very simple. And let's put it again back to login. And now instead using this state, we'll show the 2 components too. So we are not going to show just sign up here. So we are going to check again. So let's just create again that syntax or that if statement and put active. If active equal to login, we will show the login component, which is this login. Otherwise, else, we want to show the sign up component. So we're going to remove the sign up, and here we go. So if you change again, if we make it sign up and save it, it will show sign up. If we login. So here is how it works. So now when we click on this, we will change it to sign up and login. But to do this, we'll edit the state. And to edit the state, you have just to put a function in the buttons. So now here on click, type on click on the first button in the sign up button. So on click is going to be a function handle change that I will create in the moment. And also copy this on click and put it on the login button too. So here we have, and it will show you that it doesn't exist. This function doesn't exist, but we'll create it right now. So below this use state here, you have to create the function. So const handle change, handle change, not handle change. Let's edit it. Okay, handle change, const handle change equal to a function. Here's a function. I'm assuming in this video, that you know ES6 or the new syntax of the JavaScript. So like this, so we create easily a function on this way, and we don't type function and like we do in the old JavaScript. So it's easy. And here on handle change, the function is going to set the active variable to different to the opposite. So if it's login, you'll put it sign up, and if it's sign up, it'll put it login. So here, just type set active. So we'll use this function here, set active. And set active, we are going to check if active is equal to login. So if we have it login, we'll put it to, if it's login, we'll make it sign up. So sign up. Else we'll put it login. So we're doing the reverse. And if we save it, and now if we click on sign up, it will show the sign up component. Else, if we click again on login, it will show the login component. So this is really exciting. As you can see, it's working. So sign up, login. And I explain again. So we created a function and we set it active. So if active is login, we'll put it sign up, and if sign up, we'll put it login. And here I'm handling the function inside the buttons. So here's how you can do it, how you can put different functions. So I think we finished with the authentication page, and now we can just go to login component and sign up component, because we'll get the inputs from both of these. So let's go to login.js. Here is login.js, and we'll get the information that user puts on the input fields. So to get this information, we'll use also the use state to save the information for the moment. Then we'll get this information and put it on Firebase and create a user and do everything that we'll do later. So now let's just create two variables or two use states. So the first one is going to be const email. So we'll save email here and set email, use state. And here inside use state is going to be an empty string. And also copy this and do the same thing for password. So password and set password. Here on this use states, we will save the password, the current password, and the email for the input fields. And now in the input fields, what you have to do is just to type on change. So every time user types something, we want to use the E or event. So I'll put an E. So event will get the value. So here using the E or event, we'll set email to the e.target .value. So we'll get the value of the input that user types on the input box, and we'll put it inside the set the email variable here that is in a use state. And also we'll do the same thing, copy this. We'll do same thing for the password. So every time on change, but instead of this, we want to put set password. So now we are setting the password. And also, if you type right now, if you try to type something in the input box, it will save it on state every time. But also we want to show the value of the state on this in this input. So we want to be the input value of the input is going to be email, and also value here is going to be password. Okay, so now, okay. And to show you that this is working and this is updating the email here, I will just console log. So if I type console log here, and if I console log email, for example, email, if I type and I save it, if I go to my React project and right click and open inspect and go to console, so every time I type on the email box, so as you can see, it will update the state. Is printing here is printing the state, and if I type it, it will show you the state. So it's updating in real time, and we can use this value that is inside the state to log in and to do more functions. So let's go back to the code, and I can remove this console log, and here we go. So we'll also do the same thing for the sign up component. So I will just copy these two states and go to signup.js and paste them here. And also we need the username, so const username, set username is going to be equal to use state. And also we want to import this use state. So here on React, in curly brackets, use state. Save it. And now we have username, and here on change equal to e, and this e will set email to e.target.value. Copy this on change, paste it, and then we'll change it to set username, and here set password. Save all of this, and we got all the components that we need. So if I click on Signup, here we'll save all the fields, and everything information is put it on the box of input. It will save them on the state, but also want to put the value for each of them. So value is email for the first one, value for the second one is username, and the third password. So value password. Okay, so we got all of them on state, and everything looks great. So now we got everything working, and it looks good. So now we have to create the users, but after creating the user, we will put them on a global state because we want to use it to log in. And to use global state to save something globally, so we want to save the users globally and show it in every page of the website, we will use Redux, which is a tool that can help us to save things globally. And to use Redux, what you can do is to first install Redux, then we'll set up some code. It's going to be very confusing, Redux, on the first time, but I promise you it's not that hard. So let's go ahead and create Redux. So first we have to install some requirements. So here on terminal, just type yarn add react redux redux, and also we want to install Redux. So just type this and click on add, and this will install Redux on your project. Then what you can do is here on sources, we'll create two folders actually. One folder is going to be app, and another folder is going to be features. And here on app, inside the app we'll create a store. So I will explain you what a store is. And a store is something that will store variables globally. So here's how a Redux works. Is a store, it's some reducers, and inside your reducers we have slices. So slices have some information, what are the states, what are the variables that will save, and what are the actions that we'll do with them, and what we can do. So then we put the slice inside reducer, and then reducer we put it inside the main store. And also store, we put the store in the main index.js file. So let's go ahead and create the store first. So let's create two files here. Inside the app, just type store.js, and another file is reducers.js. So inside the store, we have to import two things. So type import in curly brackets configure store. And this is going to be from Redux.js. So Redux.js, and also is going to be at Redux.js/toolkit. And another import is going to be import root reduce. No, actually we have to create the root reducer later. So here we'll use export this, we create a variable that will export it. So export const store, And inside the store, we'll put configure store. And this store is going to have an object with reducer. So reducer. And this reducer is going to contain an object with data. So data will have the root reducer inside. So reducer is going to have the root reducer, so it's the main reducer. But for now, we'll just type some text, just root, for example. And now you have to go to index.js, and here we'll check where index.js is here. So here on index.js, you have to put the provider and to put the store on the main app. So you can remove this React strict mode because we don't need it. And here first we have to import the provider. So just type import in curly brackets provider, and provider is going to be imported from React Redux. So React/Redux. Now we got the provider, and we'll put the provider here, provider. We'll close it, and inside provider we copy app and paste it here. And also provider is going to have a store attribute, and store will, inside the store we'll put the store file that we created. So just type store, and if you click on this, the first option here, it will automatically import. So here's the import file, and here we save it and we have the store. So here we'll show you that Redux.js toolkit is not found. So let's install this. So go to yarn and yarn add, paste at Redux.js toolkit. Okay, now it's installed Redux. And then here on store, we created the store. And now what you have to do is to create reducer. So the root reducer, go to reducer.js, and here we have to import or combine reducer, and also we have to import the slices that we create. But for now we don't have any slice, so we have to set up a lot of code in Redux, but then everything will make sense. So just type here combine reducer, combine. Or you can import it from here, combine reducers, and we'll import it from Redux. And here we'll create another file, export const root reducer equal to combine reducers. And here is going to be an object with the reducers we want. So we want a reducer for our user because we want to save the file, and we want to save the information of the user in that on that state. So we create a state for reducer, so a slice for a reducer. So here we're going to have user, and here we'll put the slice. So for now I'll put a text too, so just slice, and save this. And now we'll use this root reducer to import it on store.js. So here on top, import root reducer. If you type enter, here is the import root reducer, and instead of this data here, we'll just type root reducer. So here we are using. So we finished with store.js. We can close it, and now we have to create some slices and put it here on the inside the reducer.js. So to create the slices, we'll create the slices inside the features in the features folder. So go to features folder that we created, and here we have features folder, and right click on it and create new file. And we need a slice for a user, so we'll type user slice.js, enter. And now here is the main part of our state. So here we'll create the slice. So with the initial state, the states that will say everything we want to save on this slice or on this state that we created, and then we'll put also some actions, what to do with some functions that we can interact with that state. So now here, let's import create slice. So import, or you can just type create slice, press enter, that it will import it. And now we need an initial state, so const initial state equal to an object, and here we'll create user. So user, by default, user is going to be null, so just type null because we don't know the user. And then we'll also use is loading, which is something that will use it to check if the user is loading while login or is not. So just type is loading variable is loading equal to true, because by default is loading. So now we created the initial state, and below we'll create the slice. So export const user slice equal to create slice, and inside this this function create slice is an object, and this will contain name, and name is going to be user. Then we have initial state, and then we have initial state, and others we have reducers. So here we'll create reducers, and is going to be an object, and inside this object we'll create different functions or reducers that we can interact with this state. So first thing is going to be a login user. So we want a function to log in the user. So login user colon, and here we'll use two things, the state and action. So just type state action, and it will use these two variables to get the user from state. So from state we get user, so state.user is going to be equal to action.payload. So payload is the data that we'll put from, so every time I know it's very complicated, but every time we run this function login user, you can put some information inside this function, and we'll pass it in this code here, or in the state of user, or inside the user. And this action or this information is called the payload. So we want the payload to put it inside the user. And also we want another function is going to be logout. And also here we don't need the action, we need only the state. So state and state.user equal to null, and this is equal to null because every time you log out we want to turn it on the current state, so it's going to be null. And also we want to a function for set loading, and set loading is going to have state and action, and set loading we want to state.is loading equal to action.payload. So now we created the reducers, and what we can do now is just to export them. So we want to export these, so we can use export const, and we have multiple of them, so we'll type login user, logout, and let's type logout user. So we have logout user and set loading, and this is going to be equal to user slice dot reducers dot actions. Because these are called actions. So here we created the slice and everything, it should be good. Instead of this, so user slice equal to create slice, and it's good. So now we'll use this slice to put it on in our reducers.js. So go to reducers.js, and we have to import this user slice. So just type user slice, and this will automatically import. And instead of this text here or this string, we just have to type user slice. Now we finished with reducers, and we can close it. Now we have the slice, and we can close it. It's good. Perfect. So here we can close the index.js too. Okay guys, now we finished with Redux, and we created everything we need, the state, the global state of the user. And to test it, you can just go to Google and install an extension for Redux too. So just search on Google for Redux extension. And if you go here, is Google Dev Tools, is Redux Dev Tools, just install it. I have already installed it, and refresh it, and here we have Redux Dev Tool. And if you click on this icon, here it will show you a state with some datas. And here is the state and actions, but we haven't finished with it yet, so we'll go ahead. So here on this project, we can use the state, or the main state, the reducers, and the store in our project by using the hook use selector. And now if you go to app.js, as you can see, I'm showing homepage, I'm showing authentication page for now. But if I want, I can check first if the user exists, or if it is a user, then we want to show the login, the homepage. If it isn't a user, we want to show the authentication page. So to do that, you have to first get the user. So to get the user, just type const and user equal to use selector. Use selector, this second one, it will import it on top. And inside this, we want to check the state. And state is going to have state.data.user. And also it's going to be .user again, because we put user inside the user. So if we save it, it will show you a problem that is read properties on undefined reading user. So here, user. Okay, let's try to console log this object, this variable. So console log, and inside this we put user. And if you right click and go to console, it's going to be undefined. And this is being undefined because we actually did have a problem. And if you go to reducers.js, we are putting here user. In the user, we are putting user slice. But actually, we want to put the reducers on this. From user slice, we want to put the reducers, not the user slice itself. So just type user.reducer and save it. And now it will show you the user. So here in the console, as you can see, is an object, and this object contains user is null and is loading true. So also if you click on the Redux dev tool, you can see here we have on the state inside data, we have user and is null and is also is loading is true. So now we can use this variable, and here on app.js, we can just type here on state.data.user, we can remove this console log, and now we want to check if a user exists. So if a user exists, we'll show a home page, else we'll show authentication page. So here in curly brackets, just type user. So if we have a user, then we want to return this. Else we want to return this. So here inside the first thing, so if you have a user, we'll put a home page. Then if we don't, we'll put authentication page. We can remove this and save. So now it's still showing the authentication page because the user is null. But if you go to user slice here on features, user slice, and we put something here, just an object with username Radian, for example, and we save it. Now it will show you the home page, and this is showing home page because it already exists a user here on the state, on the Redux state. But still we will leave this null because we don't want to have a user here, because we will create this user using Firebase, as we told you before, and then we'll save it here on this state. So let's go ahead now and create the Signup function that will create a user in the Firebase. And to do that, what you can do is first to go to signup.js, And here is Signup. Let me see where Signup is. In Authentication, Signup. So here we have signup.js, and every time we click Signup button, we want to run a function here. So here, let's type onClick equal to handle Signup. So here we'll create the function on top, below the states. Here, create a function const handle Signup equal to a function, and this function is going to create a user. So to create a user, we'll use the function from Firebase that will automatically import, and is going to have this function is called create user with username and password, and we just have installed before Redux in our component in our project, and then we can use this function. So type import, and in curly brackets put this function create user with email and password, and this will be imported from Firebase /auth. Save it, and if you see expected assignment of okay, so we have just we are not running the function yet. So okay, here we imported the create a user with email and password, and now we have to create the user. But first we also need the auth, so import auth, and here on top type import in curly brackets auth from Firebase. So .firebase file that we created. So if you go to firebase.js that we have created before in the beginning of the video, so here's Firebase, we have created an auth variable, and it will import it from this file. So from // is going to be also two dots because we have it one directory away. So // So save it, and we have auth. So now inside this function, first thing we have to put is auth, then another thing is email, and then password. So this type email we get from the state, and then password. So here is the function create email with and password, and after creating this is going to return a promise. And after creating this, what we have to do is to sign in the user. Immediately after creating a user, we want to sign in. So then just type .then. So inside this then, what we want to do is to sign in this user. So to sign in, just type a function sign in with email and password. Here is the option. So just click on it, and this will automatically import it on top. So here is imported. Wait, let me make this larger. Okay, so it's imported on top, sign in with email and password. And then after we sign in, we have this function, and again we have to put auth, and then we want email and password, pass email and password on this function, and then it is going to sign in the user. And after signing in this user, what we want to do is to get the username and put it on this user, in this current user. So to put the username on this data, on this object of the user, we can use update profile function. And again, update profile is the function that we can import from Firebase auth. So here we can import update profile. So update profile, and then after we do that function, the signed in function, you can type .then. We want to update profile, and this function is going to have we want to get the current user that is signed in. So auth.current user, and then comma. And here we have the object that what we want to update. So I want to update username, to put a username. So username in Firebase is called display name. So just type display name, and display name is going to be column to username, and then we have updated. So if I save it, and here is all the code. As you can see, it looks better now because it was too long. So first, let me explain again. So we have a function that runs every time we click the sign up button. And the first thing is going to create the user with email and password. So you put auth, email and password. Then we want to sign in this user with email and password. And then after signing in, we want to update his profile and put a username for him. So we want to put a username like for this current user, we want to put the display name to be the username. So then we have created everything and we have the display name, and then we want just to catch any error. So if any error happens after creating the user, we can remove this column here and type .catch. So if any error happens, we want to, for now, let's just alert this error. So error, and we want to alert error. So every time it's going to alert this error. Okay, so we have this function, and I think is good. So what we can do now, okay, so what we can do now is to put this function inside the button. So we already did it. So yes, it should be good. Okay, so now every time we click sign up, it's going to create a user. And now let's just test this function. So if you go to Firebase, here is Firebase we have, and if you click on users, as you can see there, it shows no users for this project yet. But if you go to our project, and here is our project, and here we just type an email, so a random email, and here for username, just put my name and put a password 123456. And if you click sign up, it's not going to show anything or something. But if you go to the Firebase and refresh, let's see if it worked. Yes, it worked. As you can see, it shows a new user with this email and this provider, and it shows when it's created and the user ID. So it's working perfect. It's creating our user. So the sign up function works perfect. What we can do now is if we go to app.js, here what we have to do is every time our website loads, we want to check if a user exists. So if a user exists in the Firebase, or if a user is logged in, more exactly, we want to get this user and put it inside the Redux state, and then use the Redux state for anything we want in our website. So to do that, what we can do is to go to app.js, and here to check every time the component load or the website load, we can use a hook, a React hook that is called useEffect. So now we can just import useEffect. So import useEffect on top of here on app.js, we have to import useEffect. So here just type useEffect, and here on the second one, just press it and it'll automatically import on top the useEffect from React. And here useEffect contains two things. One is a function and other is some dependencies. And let's create a function. So it's going to be this function. And also comma is dependencies on curly brackets. So dependency is when we want to run this effect only when a component loads, but we don't want that. So if you leave it empty, it will run every time the whole page reloads or whole page runs. So inside this function, we want to check if a user exists. So if a user is signed in. And to do that, first let's import auth. So auth, if you type auth and click it, it will import auth from Firebase. So it's imported. And now we want to use auth to check if a user exists. Or to do that, you can just type .auth on auth state changed. So auth on state change. So inside this function is going to return the user. So auth user. And we can use this user and you can use this user to put it in our Redux. So if a user exists, we want to put it in our Redux state. So first let's check if auth user, so if this user exists, then we want to put it inside Redux. And to do that, to put inside Redux, we can use dispatch. And first let's create the dispatch. So const dispatch equal to use dispatch. This is another hook for Redux, so we'll use dispatch. If you click the first one, it will import it on top. So here is imported, use dispatch, make sure to import it too, and use dispatch. So close this, and here we have dispatch. And to put the data or the user in this dispatch on our Redux, we can use this dispatch. And just type dispatch, and this is going to get the payload or the action. The action is going to be login user. So we want to log in this user. So if a user exists in a Firebase, we want to log in it on our website too. So now we can import the login function that we have from Redux, and just type login user. Here is the first option, press it, and here is automatically import login user from features and from user slice that we created on Redux. And now this user, login user, is going to get the payload or the information. So for information, we want to put an object with the user information. So user information is going to be user ID. So we want user ID. And to get user ID, just type auth user.uid. Then we want username. We want to create a username. And to get the username, just type auth user.displayname. So displayname is the username. And also we want email. So email. And the email is going to be auth user.email. Okay, we got the email too, and we put them all inside. So after we get the email, we get the information and the payload, and we put it inside the Redux. We also want to turn off loading, so it's not loading anymore, which means it was loading before, but now it successfully load. So to use that, we can run dispatch again below this function. We can run dispatch, and inside this dispatch we want to set loading function. So click on that, it will import it on top, set loading, and inside this is going to get the payload, and the payload is going to be false. So it's not loading anymore, so it's false. And yep, so we got it. And else, so if is not a user, we can just console log user is not logged in. Okay, so we save this, and I think we should be good. Yeah, we should be good, but let's also get this use effect and put it on top actually. So copy and put it just below the app, or maybe just below the, yes, just below the app, but also we want to put the dispatch on the top. So put it on top. Okay, this is better, I think. Okay, so let's see if we refresh our Redux, and okay, yeah, I think it's working, because as you can see, it's showing us homepage, and this means that we have a user. So if you click on the Redux tool in the extension, and if we go to state and data, you can see that we have user, and it's showing us user information. So user ID, username, and the email. Okay, so we are getting this, we are putting the user email and stuff, and it's not loading, it's full. So it successfully got this. So I think it's working fine, because it's showing us homepage. And if we refresh, it's a problem, but it will fix it later. Now we are authenticated. We currently authenticated, and we have to log out. We have to create an option to log out. And to create this option to log out, we'll create a link on the nav bar, a button on nav bar that is a logout button. And for this logout, every time you click, we want to log out the user. And okay, so let's go to side nav, because we have to go to navigation, sidenav.js, and here below create button. Now actually we'll create a button, so let's copy this button and paste it one more time. And this button is going to have an avatar. So here, just type avatar and click enter. This will automatically import it, and you can close this component. And for now, I'll just put an A on it. And below in the span, we want to have username, user.username. But okay, so we want to put the user.username. But to get the user, we can go on top and get the user from Redux. So here in the side nav, we want to get the user. So just type const user equal to use selector. So to get something from Redux, we use selector. So use selector, click on this, and we'll automatically import. And want to get state. So state.data.user.user. So here it will get the user, and the user here. Now we got the user, and in this span, in curly brackets, we want to show the username or email maybe. So this type user.email. And below this user.email, we want a button for logout. So just create a new button. And we'll put a class name for this, and class name is going to be logout button. And here's going to be logout. And if you go here, it will show you in our page, it will show you this new button, and it show you email of the user and a logout button. So username. Okay, so here we want to actually show username, not email. But let's go ahead and design this button. So it is showing very ugly right now, but we will design it. So let's go to sidenav.css, and for this logout button, we want to put some style. So style is going to be font. Wait, let me show you the browser. I hope you can see it as it's not hidden. Okay, so here we have the logout button, and logout button is going to have font size. Font size is 15px, and border radius is 10px. We want the font weight to be bold, and we want color white, and background color is going to be an RGBA, and we'll show you the numbers is 255 3 times. One more time. No, and this and the transparency is going to be 0.211. And if you save it, it will show you like this. And then we want to add some padding. Padding is 10px, and also want some border. Border is going to be 0. So here it is. And actually, border radius is not working. I don't understand why. border radius 10px. Oh, it's 10x, 10px. Okay, now it looks better. And also we want to copy this this class, and we want to make the hover effect, which is a cursor pointer. So hover cursor is going to be pointer. And also we want to change the background to look a little better. So background color RGB, RGBA, and is 255 3 times. And also we have a transparency 0.2424. Okay, so now as you can see, it looks better. And now every time we click logout, we want to log out the user from Firebase, and also it will remove the user from the Redux, from our Redux state. So let's go ahead and create the function. So if I go to Signup, the JS, and we create a function here on top below user, const handle logout. Handle logout is going to be a function, and this function is going to have is going to be very simple actually, because it's a ready-made function from Firebase. And this function is called just sign out, and inside it is going to have auth. So let's import auth. If I type auth here and press enter, it will automatically import. Here is auth. And we also want dispatch, because we want to remove to log out user from Redux, so we want to use dispatch. So just here below user, just type const dispatch equal to use dispatch, enter. This will automatically import. And here we want to use this dispatch. So every time we run this function handle logout, we want to dispatch to log out the user from Redux. To do this, you just type dispatch, and inside this is going to have the action, which is logout. Okay, let's import it first. Log out. Actually, let's just log out. Let me see here on features and user slice. We exporting. It's called logout user, but it's a problem here because we type logout. So make sure to be logout user. Is going to be the same as the action here. So logout user, save this. And if you go to Signup.js, remove this import and logout user, enter. This will import it, and now we got logout, and inside this dispatch we type logout user, and this is going to have nothing actually, just a function with empty parameters, because we not need anything. That every time this function is going to run, is just going to return the user to null. So then after returning it to null from the Redux, we want to also sign out from Firebase. So just type sign out, and this is the function. Press enter. This will import it from the Firebase auth, and this is going to contain inside auth. So just type auth and save it. So here we have a function, is very simple, and now we have to put this function inside the button, a logout button. So where is the button? Here we got the logout button, and on click of this button, we want to run this function handle logout. So save it, and now let's just test it in our project. So here is our website, and I can refresh the page. Here we are logged in. Here is the user, and if I click logout, it's going to log out and show me the login page. So this is very fantastic. It's working perfect. So now we can create a user. We fix the function for creating a user to sign up a user, but we can't log in because we haven't made this function yet. So it's going to be very simple to log in. I will show you right now how to log in. So let's go to the code, and go to login.js. So we can close all of these. Let's close all these tabs. Go to authentication login.js. So here on login.js, we'll create a function that will run every time we click login. So here below, let's create a function const handle login, and it's going to be very simple actually. So handle login equal to a function, and this function is going to contain only one function that is made by Firebase. So first we have to import it on top. So import, import curly brackets, and here is going to be sign in with email and password. This is the function, and it's going to be imported from Firebase /auth. Okay, so save it. Here is the function. It's a very long function, and now inside this function handle login, we will run this function sign in with email and password. And here what we want is to inside this function, it will take auth and email and password. So let's import auth. Import auth from our Firebase file. So Firebase here, and put auth inside auth, and then it will require email and password too. So email and password that we use from the state. So save it, and it's not, and okay, so this is not the default import, so we have to put it inside curly brackets. So save it, and now it's good. It should be good. So and it should work now. But wait, first we have to put this function inside the login button. So here's the button, and on click of this button, we want to run handle login. So save it, and here we should work. So let's see if this is going to work. First, I'm going to create a user. So let's put in email ready1@gmail.com. ready1. And the password is going to be 123456. Click on sign up. This is going to log me in. And here, now I can click log out, and it will show you the login page. So here's login, and let's put the email ready1@gmail.com and the password 123456. Login, and we are logged in. Okay guys, it's working perfect. As you can see, it is logged in. Actually, here on this icon here on the nav bar in this avatar, I want to show, instead of this A that is showing every time, I want to show the first letter of the username. So to do that, you just can go to side nav, to navigation, go to navigation, sidenav.js, and to show that first letter here on the icon in the avatar, we can just get the first letter of the username. So to get the first letter of the username, we can just first check if it's a user. So first check if it's a user, then if it is a user, or if it is a user.username, then I want to get the user.username, and then I want to get the first letter, which is char at 0, so character number 1, and dot to uppercase function, and this will get the function. Else I want to just return a. Wait, not inside this, but outside, I want to return a. So here it will check if it exists a username. If a username exists, we want to get the first letter and want to convert it to uppercase. Otherwise, we want to put just an A. So we save it. If I log out and I create another user, ready2@gmail.com, let's put ready2. And the password 123456, and if we refresh it, okay, so now it shows R with capital, ready to username, and also logout button. Okay, so now there is a problem that I want to fix. So as you can see, every time you refresh the page, so every time we refresh, it shows a little bit, a millisecond, the login page, and then it shows the home page. This is happening because it takes some times from here on this function. If I go to app.js, let me explain you. So here on use effect, it takes some times to run this function on auth change, which is an API function that runs in Firebase, and it takes some milliseconds to load the user. So, and then it puts it on the Redux state. But during this time, we can use isLoading variable to show a loader on the screen, and then after that the user is fetched from the Firebase, we can remove the loader and show the home page. So to do this, we can just go to app.js as we are here, and we can create a loader on here. So we'll check if it's loading. So if it is loading, we'll put a loader. Then otherwise we'll show the home page. So let's go ahead and here in the app, actually let's go to ChatGPT to generate a loader. So I'll open ChatGPT. I don't want to code this loader myself, so I'll ask ChatGPT. So just ask ChatGPT for create a loader in the middle of the page for my React project. Now it's generating the components, so it's going to first create the loader. It's actually creating a component, but we want just the div and what's inside the div, and also the CSS file. So here, copy this div, these two divs, and go here and paste them. And then it will generate also the CSS file. Okay, now the CSS code is generated, and just click on copy, and then you can just paste it on the app.js. So paste it and save it. And now if I go to React, it will show you this loader here. But we want to show this loader when the loading state is true. So here we have to check if inside the app, if you have to check if it's loading. So if is loading, but first we have to get this is loading variable from Redux. So const is loading equal to use selector. Just like we got the user, we can get the is loading variable state, and state.data.user.isLoading. So here is how we can get it. And now inside here, if is loading is true, then we want to return this. Otherwise, we want to return this. So copy the loader. So if it's loading, we put it on the first brackets. So we put the login. And then otherwise, we want to show the user. So the other pages like homepage or the homepage or the authentication page. And actually this is showing an error because we have to put it inside the JSX. So JSX is this, so copy and paste it inside this JSX component. So now save it and it's good. So every time we refresh it, now it's not showing the home page. So it's good. It's not showing the login page. So it should be good now. And if you log out, it show login, and we can put my email ready2@gmail.com and password, login, and it will log in. So here we go, guys. We created all the authentication system for our project, and it was a really long video. Actually, we used Redux, we used Firebase, and we log in and log out successfully, create a user, and also we put it a loader. So every time it's loading, it will show loader, and then it will show the page, the authentication page, or the home page if the user is logged in. So this is the video for the day, guys. In the next video or in the next videos in this channel, I will put another video on how to continue video about this this Instagram clone, where we'll create another functions or another features for this project, and we'll create the posts so user can create a post, can post a photo, can post something, or can follow someone, or can like another post or something. So this is how you can create this authentication system. This was a very long video. I see you in the next videos. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel, and I see you in the next videos. Peace.